Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Clear the Ice program here on the Edge of Philly Sports. The Mayfair Mafia is in his house. Your boy Matty B with my main man Pat Bernard Gobbler. What's going on? And Pat, before you tell me what's going on and you tell me how you're doing, I just got to ask you one question. After you tell me what's going on and what you're doing, I want you to answer this question. Uh, the Flyers do know that it's not a prerequisite to have a long-term losing streak a season, right? They know they don't have to have one of these in order to kind of complete the NHL season, right?
You know what? To fight against this, I knew this was going to happen. I knew we're coming down to the finish line, and now it looks like the clock has struck midnight on this team, and now we're getting a little upset because the finish line is just right there, and it looks like we're on the cusp of not making the postseason. It's bothering a lot of people. I knew this was going to happen, and I just had the feeling. Now, granted, they can turn things around, but if you would have told me they're going to lose games to the Sabers and all the bottom feeders, I thought you were nuts. After coming 2 weeks ago, that they were 500 against Toronto and Boston and the Rangers and give those teams a battle. Now you play the bottom feeders like Chicago and stuff like this, and we can't even get together. If this ain't your most typical Philadelphia sports thing ever, I don't know what is.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I actually miss those carefree days of the gauntlet. I would actually go back to that right now. Face the Bruins 3 times a week and then sprinkle in the Panthers and then, kind of fold in the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, give me that any day of the week. Pat, winless now in their last 6. Flyers fall tonight 4-2 in Buffalo. To a team that was dead in the water themselves, but now, thanks to tonight, are right back in the playoff hunt themselves as the Flyers are now officially out of the third spot in the Metro. I know they were kind of out of it, but they are really now falling out. They are holding on to that final spot, the 8th seed around the wild card. And to be honest with you, Pat, if this is the team we're going to get in the playoffs, I'd rather just take a pass, get a higher draft pick, and then go on about my business. Pat, I want to ask you before we kind of turn our attentions exclusively to this game. We heard it all throughout the season, or lately, I should say, within this last 6 games, especially. Is this team tired? Have they run out of gas? Are they a product of John Tortorella's hardcore training camps, early parts of the season? They go right out the gate firing. Are they wilting down the stretch? And how important right now, once again, and I can't believe 38 years and counting, I'm still talking about this, is the goaltending situation, because it doesn't seem to matter who they're putting in there these days. Urson, Samuelson, Fedotov tonight with his first career NHL start. This team is just not getting good goaltending, Pat. All 4 goals tonight, in my opinion, should have been saved. They were all clean looks. He just didn't misplayed all of them. And even that little breakaway goal, he got deked out of his damn undershorts, and it was just really a pathetic performance by him. So, are they gassed? And why are we still talking about goaltending 38 years now and counting since we had a lockdown goalie?
To answer your question, it's funny because that first period, they've had scoring opportunities throughout the game. They've turnover, which was all great and dandy and fun. I get it. Buffalo's got one of the best goaltending in the league. I think he's like top 10 in shutouts. He's top 10 in save averages and all those things. Now Buffalo, like you mentioned earlier, has won now 3 out of 4. Looking at now the creep into this thing, they're not completely dead out of the water, but I mean, and the Flyers now gave them life. So I don't know, but to answer your question, the Flyers look gas on the defense, especially. I mean, they've left so much space in the middle where Buffalo was just saying, here, I'm going to take advantage of this rookie goaltender, and there's going to be nothing to do about it. And listen, the hype I've heard about this kid because of the height and all that stuff going to be like another Anthony Solars because of the height and all that stuff. And listen, that kid just got a welcome part to the NHL from all the hype you got from where you came from and all the cross seas. This was a tune-up game, and I don't know if the Flyers farm system rushed him up here too soon. He's still getting his feet wet and the Phantoms part of things, and just rushed him up here because they didn't want Felix Sandstrom touching the ice again and thinking that was going to be your issue. Your issue was clearly your defensive front. Like you said, the kid give up pretty bad looking shots, Absolutely. I mean, it kind of this is a sink and swim kind of business, and he sunk tonight. So they got to bounce back from this. And I'm starting wondering if the John Toro message is not getting through anymore. I mean, what happened to the, like I mentioned earlier, what happened to the guys I've seen 2 weeks ago? I mean, you guys had plenty of turnovers, and just things weren't just bouncing your way tonight.
No, they weren't. And that kind of answered your question about the goalie situation. The Fedotov move. It's a panic move because we just don't have Urson's.
Yes.
Urson's done. He's cooked. He's cooked. He can't go anymore. He's gassed himself, and that's obvious. This was a panic move. This was a move to try to save this season, try to get them to push them into the playoffs. Fedotov never played a game in North America. He doesn't know what it's like to play on this ice. He's been in Russia the entire time. This game is different than the KHL. KHL is the third best league in the world. NHL is the best. He skipped right over the AHL and came right up to the NHL. So I know there's a learning curve here for him, and there's a learning curve for Samuelson or Sanderson or Swami Samsonite. You know who I'm talking about, the Sanderson, Sandstrom, whatever his name is. There's a learning curve for him. There's a learning curve for Urson. But my point is this, Pat. Carter Hart. Listen, man, I didn't necessarily agree with the fact that Carter Hart was the next lockdown thing. But he would at least have had the experience, and maybe I felt a little bit more comfortable going down the stretch run with this guy, but he can't keep his own personal life intact. Pat, what is going on with the goaltending problem in this city over the past, since Pelle, God rest in peace, Pelle Lindbergh. You were the best goalie I ever seen in my lifetime. I cut my teeth as a Flyer fan at the end of Bernie Perront's career, and I watched you tear it apart in the years that you were here before you left us way too early. But since then, Pat, we have not been able to find a friggin' goalie. And it's insane. I mentioned this the last time we had a show together. The Rangers have burned through 4 generational goalies, and we haven't gotten to 2. Pat, what is going on with the goalie problem in this town?
You're right. There's some franchises in this league that they could just pick them out of the sky, and it somehow falls in their laps. Us, like you said, you go from Bernie, Ron Hextall, Pelle, and blank, and that's where we're at. We're at blank right now.
I'm not even giving Hextall that. Hextall wasn't locked down. Hextall was decent for 1 year, and then he never quite got back to that after his rookie year. So Pelle showed some. Good.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Pelle, like I said, Pelle was before my time, but I've heard the stories. I've heard the stories about Bernie, and like I said, we are at blank mode. We've always had the offense, but never matched the goaltending situation. And like you said, Sam Emerson is way too young. Again, year 1, and it's just there's question marks now, and he might be one of those goalies that it's going to take a few years for him to develop. And like you said, unfortunately for the Carter Hart situation, it's like, man, we are cursed because, like you said, he wasn't the next coming guy, but he at least made you feel comfortable in some situations. I mean, in the situations, if again, Sam Harrison wasn't hot, at least Carter Hart can show up for you. It made Carhart played a little better because he felt like there was a goaltender breathing down his back, and he had a couple shutouts this year. But unfortunately, his situation resurfaced, and now here we are. Like you said, we're in panic mode of trying to find a goaltender. So we're rushing. They're ready to suit up you and me right now to play goaltending. The way this thing is starting to fall apart.
And as far as Carter Hart goes, he seems to be too comfortable in a lot of situations, and that seems to be where it got him in some trouble. But allegedly, of course, I say that allegedly because he has to go to court. But listen, I think the Flyers have some decent prospects in the pipeline, and they got some good talent. It's just they got to develop it, man. You can't skip levels and go right to the NHL when you haven't. I mean, literally, he has never played in North America. Either is Kovasov. At least they sent him down to the Phantoms, which is good. He'll finish out the season down there, but. It's a panic move, and we were all like, well, they're going to make a move at the deadline to bring in a goalie. No, because they don't want to give up the asset. They figured they had 7 goalies that could potentially kind of hold down the ship, but it's obviously not working out because using the ship metaphor, the Flyers are sinking faster than the Titanic on an early spring night in the North Atlantic, Pat, and I don't think there's nothing coming. And honestly, they've blown an opportunity, winless now in their last 6, playing like it. And we're going to break some numbers down here in a second because another thing that's really pissing me off is the shots. The Flyers consistently outshoot their opponent by a wide margin on the night. And for the season, Pat, they're outshooting their opponent by like 500 goals for the season. and they're being outscored because they can't score more than they're 2.8 goals a game, and they're being outscored on these 19 shots given up, 12 shots given up. That's goaltending, Pat, and that's defense. But I'm tired of blaming the defense. The defense has improved enough to be at least an NHL defense this year. It's the goaltending that has failed this team, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, and look, tonight was just a perfect story, like you said, Matt. All three periods, we were out shooting them. We were like, again, first forcing turnovers. We were getting the shots on net. However, their goaltender was a lot better than ours. That was play. It would be like I'm not. It'd be like playing a red hot, quarterback versus a third stringer here. I'm going to feed you to the wolves and see what you do, and constantly getting sacked. And that's what happened. This kid, and like I said, the KHL, and this is going to worry me some. That we all hype off the Mitch Cop. Well, that KHL is a whole getting a world of a difference from the NHL, and the NHL is a totally different beast. And this kid got to see it firsthand. And listen, like you said, Matt, whether it's the defense, whether it's traffic that was in front of them or it's wide open, it's still your job to try and come up with something to try and stop it. And those pucks were going by this kid, and he had no clue of the speed of this game. And listen, like I said, he's still got a lot of time of growth. And again, this is a panic mode, and I don't want to bash the front office, but this is a panic mode by the front office. And now this is where we're at.
Let's just field some of these questions and let's get into the game. Matty, Matty Money. That's interesting. Yeah,
I like
Matty
it.
Don't have money is kind of the nickname for me. This MF is a must win, and I'm happy to know who will be worth to keep and who will require a jettison. However, I think Coots requires both. Requires a deserves and Coots both requires and deserves a rest. Coots of course is shelved down with upper body injury they're calling it. I don't know, lower body injury. It's not neither one of those. Coots is being shelved because they don't want to deal with the drama anymore, and they rather just kind of they probably came to a mutual agreement. You're hurt, dude. That whole Coots thing is something that we'll have an opportunity to dissect a little bit later on as this season wraps up. Whether or not he was actually Tortorella's choice to be captain, or was it a Danny Barrier move because he was tired of being the only team in the NHL that didn't have a captain? I don't know about any of that. I don't know the relationship between the two of them. He is coming back after being gone for 2 years, so there's got to be a little bit of a little patience there with him. But yeah, he has not really performed stat sheet number wise, but either has Cam Atkinson, either has Joel Farabee disappeared for long stretches of the season. There's something else here with Coots, and maybe they're holding him to a higher standard because he is the captain, which I'm okay with that as well. But I think there's more to this situation with Coots.
Like you said, you mentioned about Joel Farabee. That kid, he got thumped tonight. I mean, he got hit twice. He got after he took a stick to the face and started bleeding. That was it for him. And but yeah, like you said, you go back to the Coots situation, a little bit of it, and to me, it's just like, listen, man, like you said, you got the C in your chest. You're still not performing again. Listen, you had your standards in this franchise. You had the Bobby Clarks. You had the Eric Lindros. You had the Giroux. And listen, if you're going to wear that C, I expect you to be the one leading the stats. And you're clearly not doing that. Like you said, you don't know if that was a buddy move. I don't know if it's because he's been the longest tenure Flyer here and all those things. It's whatever. But I mean, listen, man, I need you to come with your A game every single night. And I get it, you're getting older, but listen, when I look on the ice, there's two players I look forward to, making goals, Tippett and connecting, and then after that, it's just some other young pieces that make me happy, but he should be the first guy I look forward to make some goals.
Yep. All right, Pat. Let's. We got through one question. let's get to the game right now because we got to break this thing down. As I mentioned, Flyers fall tonight, 4-2 to the Sabres, now winless in their last 6. The Sabres would get things rolling here in the first period. About halfway through the period, Tage Thompson, his 28th from Peter Pitka and Tuch to make it 1-0 Sabres. A goal that kind of, I guess, would set the tone for the night. Flyers kind of over pursued and under pursued this play at the same time. Morgan Frost gets really kind of caught in between two lands and didn't know where he was going to go, and then that was the deke move. Fedotov, again, young man, this is not the KHL. There's multiple moves that they're going to try to put on you. You can't commit that easily to that. You can't come out that far, especially when you got you got other players that are going to potentially come down and fill in the gap in at the goal mouth. He came out, and then to boot, he did something doubly wrong. He fell for the double move, which just looked really silly. As I mentioned, faked out of his jock. 1-0 Sabres.
Yeah. Again, this is tonight. If you looked at the shots on that, this should have said a Flyers win. But this is like punch out to me. We threw 400 punches, but it only took them one shot to kind of put us on the ropes. And yeah, unfortunately, and that's what happened. This that T. Thomas shot was unreal. I mean, he gets a wide open look. Again, where was the defense? They were all facing where the pass was going, but no one was facing the wide open guy. And he finds the back of the net going top shelf, and that's what set the tone for them.
And that's how your scoring would end in the first period, 1-0. In a period where the Flyers outshot the Sabres, you're going to hear this right, folks. I'm not lying. They outshot them 10-4. The Flyers outshot the Buffalo Sabres 10-4. Did I mention they outshot them 10-4, and they were going into intermission down 1-0? Remarkable.
With two power play opportunities.
Absolutely, which they failed again on tonight. But yeah, 10-4 was your shot totals heading into the second period. Flyers would, though, get things kind of going in their own way at the 9:07 mark of the second. Noah Cates, good to see him get on the score sheet. His fifth from Owen Tippett and Cam York. This was a pretty goal, Pat. I got to give credit where it's due. The Flyers kind of controlled the puck. Nice plays inside their zone. They maintained control. Good puck movement. And Cates walks down and just if they're gonna give it to you, Noah, take it. You walk down to a very high percentage shot area, kind of flicked it high, and it rolls in, and we got ourselves a tie game, Pat.
Yeah, that one was, like you said, just being very creative in the offensive zone. The way that they're just passing the puck around, good puck movement, and then, like you said, no Cates just getting that wide open shot. And when you get create space, you take the opportunity to find the back of net, and he goes top shelf himself, and that's what would tie up the game.
But it wouldn't stay tied for long, because at the 14:51 mark, Buffalo would go ahead. And it would be Rasmus Dahlin, his 19th from Thompson, his 26th, and Tooch again, his 36th assist on the season. Let's see. Yeah, this was Fedotov at his best here. Flyers kind of playing a lackadaisical style defense, so I'm not going to take some responsibility away from the Flyers. They allow way too much pressure and penetration from the Buffalo Sabres. But when you go high slot and you're in dead center of the ice and you're going one-on-one with your shooter, Pat, at this level, you got to make the save, man.
You got it. But you know what? Like I said, I'm not making no excuses for the kid. That, to me, again, that was another welcome to the NHL, kid. Welcome in, kid. This is the sink or swim business, and right now you're sinking in quicksand faster than you know it, and it comes pretty fast. And like you said, open shot from the blue line, and this kid just zips one right through him, and our goaltender just, what was that? He thought that was a frisbee that just went by him. It was that quick.
Yeah. Looked like you didn't see it, Pat. And again, I'm sorry. I get it. Everyone has a bad night, but you got to make that save. We thought, Pat, we would head into the intermission just down 2-1, but the Buffalo Sabres would have other plans. Pat, you never give up goals with less than a minute to go in a period, and you don't want to be on the other side of giving up a goal with less than a minute left, and you also want to be on the other side of scoring a goal. Well, tonight it was Jack Quinn of the Sabres, his 6th of the year, from Benson and Power. Benson 17th and Power's 25th at the 19:54 mark of the second period to give Buffalo the 3-1 advantage heading into the intermission. This might have been the dagger in the heart for this Flyers team tonight. Again, this was one of them goals, Pat. Buffalo kind of beat the Flyers at their own game with the long outlet pass, and then what happened? Well, another wide open shot in between the dots, and Fedotov was beat yet again. 3-1. Pat, I want to ask you this: with basically happening the same goal back to back, and then a goal given up right at the end of the period. Is there maybe a possibility that you might make a change here in the intermission, or are you giving the young man an opportunity to kind of work this out?
No, because I'm going against it. I need to make a goalie change. Listen, if we were on a winning streak, I might let the kid fight himself out of it. But my season is in panic mode. I'm falling quicksand there. I gotta get Sam Harrison in there. No, listen, I know you're probably booked for tomorrow, but listen, uh-uh. You're gonna have to go get your. We need you in here now. We're gonna have to give that kid a break. This is too much for him. I credit John Torella for letting the kid try and battle through, but come on, man, this kid's just wet. This is his first ever NHL start, and he's not even wet behind the ears yet. So come on, man, you got to play. You got to be a better head coach in that situation, and bring in your guy who's been winning you games. So come on in, Sam Harrison.
Yeah, now I don't know what I would have done, obviously, and obviously we know what Tortorella did. He stayed with Fedotov for the shots for the period. Flyers shot Buffalo 13-8. That's right, 13-8. But they gave up the 2 goals. It is 3-1 heading into the third period, and then the Flyers though would start getting us back into this game around the halfway mark, the 9:19 mark to be precise. Owen Tippett continues to have that cementing season that really. To be honest with you, it's good to see. He's definitely cementing himself as a part of the future of this team. His 28th goal of the year, as I mentioned, from Sanheim, his 33rd assist. Sanheim, how did he get 33 assists? And then Scott Lawton with 25. Flyers goal on this one. Nice little penetration here by Sanheim. Dumps it down. Good look. They forced a turnover behind the net. Lawton kind of looking. And then boom, there's they find Tippett out there on the blue line, literally a nice shot along the ice through the screen, and we got a game, Pat, 3-2 Sabres.
Yeah, again, if there's going to be a Flyers jersey that comes out that I buy, Owen Tippett's definitely have earned it. I mean, this guy, as like you said, he's probably been the lightning rod to this team, other than Travis Konechny, who's been red hot. And like you said, just fires one from the blue line. Just like you said, through some screens there, some traffic, and he just finds the back of the net and really put life in back to that Flyers bench just for a little bit of time.
Yeah,
So
about
I
4
gotta give him,
minutes to be precise. About 4 minutes, and then Jack Quinn would take the life right out of the building, or I should say, would shoot the life right in the building, take the life out of the Flyers. The dagger, the actual dagger, at 13:59, his second of the game. Benson his 18th, and Cousins his 28th assist on the year. Jack Quinn, for those of you who don't know who he is, he was actually a very highly touted prospect coming out. He was the 8th overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft by Buffalo, and I actually worked. I mean, I didn't work with him, but I met him when he was with the Rochester Americans. He looks like he's about 30. Well, he looked like 13 2 years ago. Doesn't look much older now, but definitely is not playing like that, as he would put the Buffalo Sabres up 4-2. And I don't know if I want to completely give this goal to Fedotov. A lot of the bouncing puck, but I am going to give the big fat rebound he gave up to create the bouncing puck. So there you go, 4-2, as Quinn, his second of the night. Pat, you can't give out big fat rebounds in the NHL and expect to be successful as a goaltender.
No, again, I forget the player who was in front of him, gets in the backdrop pass. Again, takes a shot. He takes the shot against gets his own rebound, and then just says, "You know what? Money shot. Here you go, kid. Another one. I'm going to get this one." And again, rookie goaltender making all sorts of rookie mistakes, and yeah, you can't do that. You have to try and get your puck back, and you have to make that second stop. And unfortunately, he didn't. And yeah, I got to give that kid a lot of credit. Like I said, getting his own rebound, and that kid Quinn just finding the back of net. Good stuff from him.
Yep, and that would be your final. But a note, a honorable mention, if you would, Pat. The Flyers would pull the goalie, I guess, about 3 minutes to go, and they would play without a netminder the rest of the way. And at one point, I don't know if this was around 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes, I thought Buffalo was going to score on the empty netter, and Nick Seeler, out of nowhere, makes a save like in the slot. I think it broke his stick or it broke the other player or something. But Nick Seeler playing playing to the end, and I got to give credit to Nick Seeler, and I may actually have to make him one of my Flyer stars tonight. I don't know. I'm still debating over it, but the Flyers lose 4-2. Final shots for that period was 11-7 Flyers. Flyers would finish with 34 shots on the night, 19 to Buffalo's 19. Flyers were 0 for 2 on the power play. Buffalo was 0 for 0 on the power play, as the Flyers did not take any penalties. Flyers blocked 16 shots, and so did the Sabres. But the Flyers gave the puck away 9 times, and they took the puck away 9 times as well. And Pat, we head into tomorrow. If there's not a must-win situation, this is it. I mean, listen, Pat, I'm on life support with this team making the playoffs right now, and if they lose tomorrow, I'm done. I don't think they deserve to make the playoffs now, but I don't know, man. It's just really uninspiring to have a 6-game losing streak at this part of the season when you stayed away from them all damn year long.
It's funny because like last weekend I was covering the Philadelphia Wings, and I had a great conversation with Bill Meltzer, and he said, Pat, they lose to Chicago, and this was last week. We definitely don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Well, listen, and the way we're penetrating now, it looks like we are going to miss it. And like I said, everyone here thought I was crazy. Oh, this is a the way this team this season is starting to unfold a little bit. We can't finish. We're not going to be able to make it to the finish line. Now we're all mad. I see that. Unfortunately,
no. I'm not mad.
No,
I'm not mad. Listen.
So let me ask you, Matt. This has come down the stretch. Are you more upsetting the way? I won't say the coaching. I don't know where. If you were to pull a pie chart out to blame for this, are you blaming the talent on the ice, the coaching? Is it a panic move by the front office to rush a kid right into feed him right to the wolves? I mean, what's made the season going wrong?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Pat, because I have the answers that you need right here. For me, it comes down to a few areas, and I'm going to go with the first one. Flyers are 31 for 242 on the power play this year, 12.8% effective. You're not a playoff team. You're not a Stanley Cup champion with a power play that's putrid. Now, that's offense. They don't have the offensive talent. We've known that from the very, very beginning of the season. That's nothing new. But as I mentioned earlier, the Flyers have outshot their opponents after tonight. The Flyers have 2,554 registered shots on net. Their opponents have 2,099. It's over 500 or around 450, whatever it is. Again, it's goaltending there. To me, it's goaltending and a smattering of defense because shorthanded, the team is 195 for 233. They've killed off 195 penalties after being shorthanded 233 times for an 83.6% effective rate. So the shorthand, the PK is working. All right, so the defense works there, and they also scored 15 times shorthanded, which again is amazing. Pat comes down to not enough offense, and yet again, the goaltending situation in this town is still a mess.
Yeah, and that's what it boils down to. I mean, listen, I could blame that there's no defense, and that's, like I said, to me that's part. But at the same point, you're the goaltender. You're the most important position on the ice, and just put all sorts of panic moves and make. I kind of expect this to happen in a way, like. And then you look at Buffalo's goaltending, and again, one of the top players, one of the top goalies in the league. It's going to be hard to go against that. And you've seen that kid on the other side of the ice. I mean, he was making some, shut down every time they were trying to go 5-hole on him. Shut it down. It was trying to have the Flyers force the top shelf plays, the top shelf. So I got to give him credit there. But yeah, this team needs a lot of work. And they, like you said, tomorrow your back is against the wall. You have really no other options. You're starting to run out. I mean, because now you're getting to the part of playing leapfrog. I need this team to lose. Shouldn't have done that. But here we are. So they got to go into Columbus, wipe it up, and they're going to go in there a little fatigued. And, they got to bounce back from this big time. And you're going to need Sam Allarson to come out full force and be ready to rock and roll.
As for the goalie's numbers, Fedotov would save 15 out of 19 shots for a .789 lousy save percentage. As for the Buffalo Sabres, as you mentioned, their vaunted goalie, Luukkonen, he faced 32 shots and made 34 saves for a .941 save percentage. That tells you all you need to know about tonight, right there, and that stat line right there. Pat, we are falling way behind because we're droning on and on. Let's kind of breeze through some of these as fast as we can.
Nice.
People are too rough on the guy, and I think Torts needs to recalibrate his role to an old school third down, shut down center captain and at their expectations. Seeing Danny, I don't know if Coots can give you that physically anymore. I'm not really sure what you do with Coots. Third line, I'm okay with that, but shut down third line. I mean, the third line is not what it used to be in hockey. Either is the fourth line, but yeah, he's not a 1 or 2 line guy. I agree with you, Steven. Not perplexing goaltending, running out the most inopportune time, but other teams keep flailing as well. Steven, I get that. And the Flyers goaltending has let them down. I mean, let's call it what it is. Sam Ersson came out the gate pretty hot, but then he's kind of petered out down the stretch. And then obviously the moves they're making right now are not quite working out. The Flyers have some good prospects in the system. I'm not going to deny that. And the fact that they were in this thing they're in this thing to mid-April or early April, I'm very happy about that. But the way they're losing, the way they're just kind of, the goaltending wasn't one of the areas we were talking about heading into the season. Is really not knowing what we had. I mean, we knew what we had. Now, I got it. Carter Hart, he's got to kind of work on his own self-control issues, and that's something that he's going to have probably plenty of time to figure out in the future. But there's a plan to fix this. But the plan that wasn't going to be, it's years and years down the line because all the goalies are undeveloped. So I get it. The Flyers are not to blame for that. They're not to blame for not having Carter Hart's replacement already in the wings. I understand that. But to have nothing there is a little concerning too.
So, Matt, I mean, what if they could have, I don't know, made a deal to find a serviceable backup goalie to bring a veteran back? Would you have gone for it or just
I don't want to give up the draft asset. I don't want to give up the draft asset. I don't want to give up a draft asset to get a rental goalie, a backup here. We have to build the offense yet, and I need all the damn power plays. I need all the draft picks that we can get. So no, I personally wouldn't do that. Okay. As I said, I understand why we're in this situation. I get it, and I'm not necessarily mad about it. But it's really disappointing of how this season might be ending here because of our goaltending. It's just very disappointing.
Yeah, and look, I mean, tonight it's pretty much told you everything you need to know. Listen, when you put in inexperienced goaltenders, like I said, we're in a year and some change of Sam Harrison's era. Again, he's given us some bad goals, in bright spots. He kind of chokes it away. And this is kind of like you said, we kind of expect it, and just the way it's unfolding is like it's sloppy for what it is.
Angry Ant says Ersson will be okay. Well, that's an interesting take. Guys, remind yourself Ersson is still okay. That's my point, Anthony. Ersson is young. So is Fedotov. So is Kovalov. So is Bjornsson. So is who else do you want to throw out there? There's that other kid in Russia. They're all young. That's my point. The only goalie that wasn't young on this team was friggin' Cal Peterson, and he stinks. So there wasn't really the plan. The plan was Carter Hart, right? That was the plan, and the Flyers got kind of sideswiped by that a little bit. But did they really? I mean, they knew probably a little bit more about this situation than anybody else did. I'm not saying they knew everything. I'm not saying they knew he was going to get arrested. I'm not saying any of that. But come on, man. I get it, Carter. That it sucks what happened there, but there's nothing behind him in terms of developed talent. There's talent, but it's not developed right now. And that's what's concerning about the situation and the fact that this town can't ever find a true number one goalie. It's become criminally frustrating.
Absolutely. I totally agree. It's just like you and I said at the top of the show, there's franchises that could just it just falls out of the sky, and then there's other franchises
one
like
after another. Here we go. Put him in. All right, he's going to win 5 Vezinas. Put him in. Oh, he's going to win 3 Vezinas. Yeah, it's the way it is.
It's look at the Rangers. They go from King Henry to what they got now, and here's
Zerkin. I mean, it's not fair.
Man. We can't
get one, and they got and I said they before Henry, it was damn Mike Richter. I mean, come on, man. When's it going to stop, man? Joe House is checking in from WWE Hall. It's packed. Yeah, I know it's a big thing. Also, Ersson started playing more and more in the middle of the season, especially when he Carter. Yeah, well, no, duh. I get you, Anthony. Listen to me. Here's the situation. This opportunity in life doesn't come around all the time, and Urson had the opportunity. It was given to him. I don't care how he got it, but the opportunity to be the number one goalie for the Philadelphia Flyers was placed in front of him, and every kid wants that opportunity. If you didn't want the opportunity, or if you weren't ready for the opportunity, then you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be doing this for a profession. You take that opportunity and you run with it and you do your very best. Listen, I'm not blaming Urson. He's a serviceable goalie. He's a serviceable backup. I think we can end that conversation too. He doesn't have the damn doesn't have the endurance.
Factor.
Yeah, it doesn't have the endurance to be a starter right now. Maybe he'll develop that over time. I don't know. But right now, I am not putting my eggs in the Sam Urson starting goaltending basket moving forward. But the problem is going to be, because we're going to have the same problem next year. Undeveloped goalies. Really good ones, but undeveloped. And they're going to have to get developed somewhere. And some of them are going to have to get developed up here with the Flyers. So that's another aspect of this rebuild that wasn't necessarily identified heading into this season, that is now reared its ugly head for next year, is now goaltending development, because they're not going to go out and sign a goalie in free agency. No, we need scores there. They're not going to draft another goalie. We have 7 of them in the pipeline. We don't need any more right now. We got to address the scoring. So it's going to be goaltender from within. Now, they'll probably go out and sign a veteran for a backup, but one of these kids is going to be a starter next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it, man. I get the frustration. Marshawn says that we lose. Yeah, 4-2. And Ellis says Flyers needed a win. They did, Ellis, and they did not get one as they fell 4-2 tonight. All right, Pat, let's get over to the best part of the show. Best part of waking up is this segment, right? This is our 3 Flyer stars of the night. You're going first tonight, Pat. I'm gonna kind of piggyback and steal yours. Yeah, you're going first. All right, Pat, our 3 Flyer stars tonight, and go.
All right, the first thing I'm going to go for, I'm going to go right off the bat. I'm going to go. My third one is it's going to be Nick Seeler. Just the way he rushed up the ice. The stick broke before it touched him, but just for him just to put his body on the line and to stop a open netter is just remarkable. He is the Flyers' bulletproof vest. I mean, the Flyers could be in a lot more trouble because of his ability and his fearlessness, just absolutely just incredible. And listen, the Flyers are going to, again, just keep him around as much as you can. And if anybody's willing to take shots like that and just ready just to put themselves through a serious amount of pain to make sure that, this Flyers, team could do some good things, I'm all for it. So keep Nick Seeler around. I'm going to go star number 2. I'm going to go Noah Cates, just finding the back net, just taking the golden opportunities, and number star of the night, of course, I'm going to go Owen Tippett, just being the lightning rod to this franchise for the current era, just sniping it away from the blue line, just making things happen. And again, just to me, if you're going to count not just star of the night, but maybe star of the year for Philadelphia star athletes, he's going to be up there at the end of the year.
Solid picks, Pat. Solid. And so solid that I'm going to steal 2 of them. All right. My number 3 is Nick Seeler as well. He didn't show up on the score sheet, but he showed up in that intangible score sheet, which he shows up on every night. And that's doing all that mucking and grinding. And tonight, didn't have to do it. He could have mailed it in at this point. The game was winding down, but he gave up the body to stop that empty netter. That's the type of thing that endears an athlete to this city, or or a city, the city to an athlete, is that type of play, and that's very reminiscent of the old school Flyers. So I'm going to give Nick Seeler my number 3. My number 2 star is in my opinion, a burgeoning star, maybe a few years away from being that star, Cam York. I really like Cam York, and he goes unnoticed a lot. He finished the night with an assist and a point. Did finish with a -1. But I see a lot of Mark Howell in Cam York. I see a young Mark Howell. I see that type of defenseman. I see a quarterback out there. We're going to need one of those. We're going to need, hopefully Drysdale's the other one. But I definitely see Cam York as that definite Mark Howell comp type defender going forward with this team. I really love what he brings to the table. So I'm going to go ahead with Cam York as my number 2 star. Again, just the 1 assist, but again, his quarterbacking, the way he kind of controls things out there. And my number one, as you mentioned, Owen Tippett, goal and assist, 2 points, and is definitely that part of that young core of up and coming Flyers. Forrester, Tippett, and insert who you want after that. But yeah, so those are my 3 Flyer stars of the night as well. Good work, Pat. That was outstanding. Yeah, and that segment was brought to you by the Cherry Injury Law Group. For all your workman's compensation, motor vehicle, personal injury, or criminal law, call Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300, and he'll do the best he can for you. I have not done any ad reads up to this point, and I'm like, we're 41 minutes into the show. I'm going to get yelled at, but it's just a reminder out there. Tomorrow night, we're not done. We have another game.
Yes.
Big Al and Mike will take you into the Columbus Blue Jacket game. And, and you, Pat, are not done because tomorrow you're going to be hosting the Fighting's Final, your first one of the season. Are you excited, man?
I'm pumped up. After the win they took tonight. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. So I hosted the final the other night. What was that? Wednesday night when they lost in the rain and the snow and the 7-hour rain delay and all that. And then I hosted that game, and then I get this one. I mean, what the hell, man? Who have I pissed off? So
listen, as long as they don't wear those ugly new Jacksonville Jaguar Phillies uniforms, I'll be okay.
I mean, they're god awful, man. God awful. They're so bad.
Yes.
I don't know who is the approving authority on these things. The hat's all right. I like the hat. I just don't like the. I don't like the graphics. I don't like the. What's that?
No, who went to the Crayola factory and decided this is going to be a good idea?
Yeah, exactly. I get what they were going with the colors by the city flag, but the writing on the front. Why is it written like icicles? What's I don't really understand that. I don't understand. But what I do understand is that the Fighting's Final does have itself a new sponsor, and that is the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar at 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel Hill. And starting this Sunday, April 7th, we are going to do the first of multiple pre- and post-game live shows from the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar. Please join us at 11. Don't be there at 7 because I won't. But I mean, you can be there if you want, but I won't be there. I don't even know if they're open. But anyway, our show starts at 11. Hang out for the pregame, stay for the game, and then hang out for the postgame as well. And then prior to the pregame, your show, Pat, is going to be kicked off there at the Streetlight, correct?
Yeah, you might want to come in at 11 because you want to come in and listen to some good thoughts. You listen to me and Mike after 5 minutes, you might leave the hotel. So you might just want to stay and hang out with Al and Matt because me and Mike doing a show together, it's like I'll make you want to drive through a wall.
So, but I mean, the bottom line is, if you finally want to meet us in the flesh, come on out on Sunday, and you
get to meet the whole crew.
Yeah, you'll be actually meet the entire crew of the Ice Fighting's Final crew, to include Sal, I believe, is going to be out there. So
come on out,
check us out. Yeah, and then also come out for this. We are giving away tickets. I don't know when it's going to be an auction. I can't say an auction. There's no money involved. It's going to be, I guess, a straight raffle type situation. But we're going to be giving out tickets to an upcoming Phillies game sometime this summer on Sunday at some point. I believe it's going to be during the post game. I don't know. Don't quote me, but it'll be at some point. So make sure you're there for it. And bring the kids, because the more people you bring that are associated with you, the more chances you have to win. There's no age limit here. So make sure you're doing your due diligence to try to win those tickets. I'm hearing they're very good tickets, and I'm hearing it's against a very good team. So make sure you come out, and then also check out the good folks over at Philly Sports Trips. This is just one of their trips they got going out this summer to Wrigley Field on July 4th. Wow. I don't know what else says 4th of July better than that. So make sure you're checking that out. They're also heading to Baltimore at some point this summer on June 15th. They're going out to Fenway on Father's Day weekend. They're going to London for the Phillies Mets. They're going to Brazil for the Eagles. They're going everywhere. So head over to phillysportstrips.com and check out all they have to offer. And then Sherry's tickets, of course, if you're wanting to get those home games, or even if you want to get the road games, I'm sure they give out road game tickets too, and you don't want to pay those outrageous hidden fees, make sure you're checking out Sherry's tickets at www.sherrytickets.com and save an additional 10% when you enter the promo code EOP10. Pat, wow, man, I'm a big-time ad man.
Yes.
Pat, final thoughts?
Yeah, we got to do the scoreboard.
Geez Louise. Yeah, let's go around the NHL, Pat. I'm sorry.
Yes, how about it? So, um, yeah, let's go around the scoreboarding around the league. Of course, guys, the Flyers lost 4-2 up there in Buffalo. Tag Thomas just nasty. It's like Matty B says, sets the tone. But look, let's go around the league a little bit. Of course, the Hurricanes do us a favor, win tonight, winning 4-2, taking a win from the Capitals. Um, and that's all sides of good things there. The Rangers go into Detroit, take a W out of there, winning 4-3. And of course, man, a couple good games tonight, man, on the sheet. You got here goes a nice one: Oilers and the Avs, and the Oilers right now at the end of the second period or tail end of the second period is they're winning 4-2 right now, and of course. The Seattle Kraken is ended getting towards the end of the first period, winning 1-0 over the Ducks. Just getting started out there in Arizona. Guys, I believe this is going to be their last year in the desert before they move to Houston, and what I've been hearing about. So, guys, but yeah, that's only 6 games on the sheet, but if, on paper, your game of the night would be Avs and Oilers.
And an
And
updated look at your standings at this late hour on this Friday night. As I said, the Flyers are mathematically still tied with the Islanders, but they're not, because I believe the Islanders they have a game in hand over the Flyers. So by official scoring, the Islanders have moved into that third position in the Metro. The Flyers slide into the number 8 seed, just 1 point ahead of Washington, Detroit, and 3 points ahead of the Sabres, or 4 points ahead of the Sabres. And also only 2 points ahead of the Penguins. So Washington, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo are now breathing down the Flyers' necks for that final wild card spot. But the Flyers are technically still in that third position, but not really. But things are getting really, really tight, Pat, as we get ready to come down the stretch on this.
yeah, there's only one thing the Flyers could do, and they said Rocky, you just got to win. You got to control your destiny here, and of course, if you don't, you'll be on the outside looking in. And listen, I'm going to be one of those Flyers fans. I expected the car crash, the furthest thing to run its course at some point, but unfortunately, oh man, look, just like my camera, just
You
didn't
okay,
want to work
Pat?
for me no more. Yeah, I
We
don't
can
know
still
what
hear you.
happened
Keep
there.
going. Keep going. Keep
But
going.
listen, just like my camera, it's going to fade out like the Flyers' career soon if we don't get this all together.
And we're going to have not much time to lament, because tomorrow night the Flyers will be back at this, as we mentioned. Tomorrow night, Al and Mike with the call, Flyers, Blue Jackets, as the season is literally hanging in the balance. And we got to get a win here. If we want to try to make the playoffs, they got to start winning these hockey games. Pat, it's a pleasure, as always, to host with you. Where can the good folks out there find you?
Well, listen, guys, and like Al said, tomorrow I got another busy day here right off the bat in Edge of Philly Sports. You can catch me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. doing a tech and third, doing my soccer show, and of course, guys, talking. I'll be talking some Union with my man Kyle, my man Kyle he's a Union beat reporter. Then again, I have to do the Flyers post game show tomorrow night. That'll be roughly around 7 o'clock. So, guys, if you want to talk Phillies with me, you can hang out and do that. And of course, tomorrow, Sunday morning at 10 a.m., I am not going anywhere because I will be first. Me and Mike will be fighting at 10 o'clock in the morning, p.m. and a.m. live from our sports spotlight. Our new sponsor. Catch us there. There it is. Streetlight catching a bar right there. Drexel Hell. Me and Mike kick things up for you guys on Sunday morning. So there you are, guys. Catch us. And like I said, I got a busy weekend with the Edge of Philly Sports Network.
Yep, and we all, of course, you guys can find me on my own show Monday nights called Talking Philly Sports with Matty B. I'm also a prime contributor to the Fight and Smile and the Clear the Ice program, and a lot of written stuff that we're doing, and we're breaking things down. We're starting to get ready for the NHL draft coming up here in June or early July. We will be covering the NHL draft. The crew from Clear the Ice will be covering the NHL draft this year, but don't forget, we're also, as a network, covering the NFL draft here in about a month, so that's a huge thing going on. We're also doing some stuff about the baseball, breaking down the baseball draft, because we're going to cover the MLB baseball draft here in July as well. So a busy summer of fun for everybody there at EOP. So make sure you're tuned into everything. Like and subscribe. What the kids say. I want to thank all of our sponsors again, real fast. Sherry's Tickets, Dave Cherry, the Philly Sports Trips, the Streetlight Bar and Grill, and Dolan's. I didn't even say Dolan's. Did I even talk about Dolan's tonight? No, I did not. So let's put that up there. God damn, man. I need someone else to do this for me, man. Somebody took away the wiffle ball one's gone. All right. Well, Wiffle Ball Mania at Dolan's, May 25th, 2024. John Kruk, Mickey Morandini, you got to be there. It's going to be fun. If you've never been to a Wiffle Ball Mania, it's a fun time. Bring the kids. It's not in the bar. It's outside, obviously. So, and it's during the day. So bring them down. Have some fun. John Kruk, Mickey Morandini. Wow, worth the price of admission. So we talk again, everybody. And the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart. Good night and good hockey.